Hi, I'm Casey Dean, and I want to show you how to throw a frisbee. Now, something you might not know is that frisbees were invented thanks to a pie baking company called the Frisbee Baking Company. College students would take the pie tins and throw them around like a frisbee, and from there the idea got manufactured and produced and so on and so forth. Frisbee became like a hobby, kind of like throwing a baseball or throwing a football or dribbling a basketball. But those things evolved into a sport fairly quickly. Frisbees only became part of a sport early 1970s, so they're kind of new, but they've been evolving pretty fast and they're starting to get pretty popular. Yet a lot of people still don't even know how to throw a frisbee, which is what I want to do for you. Now, something a lot of people do wrong when they throw a frisbee is they use their whole arm, and this causes the frisbee to go somewhere where they don't want it to go. Another problem that people do is when they throw the frisbee, they hold the frisbee at an angle, which causes it to make a huge curve and arc, and they don't know what they're doing. Now, when you first start throwing a frisbee, something you want to try to do is just use your wrists. It's all on the wrists. You don't need to use your whole arm. Another thing you want to try to do is hold the frisbee level. Whenever you let the frisbee go at an angle, it will go at an angle. So you want to try to hold the frisbee level to the ground. The best way to do this is to pretend that you're balancing a glass of water on top of the frisbee while you're throwing it. Another good thing you need to know is the right timing to release the frisbee. Like throwing a baseball, when you're learning to throw a baseball, you learn to let go of the baseball when you're pointing at your target. Frisbee's the same way, except instead of letting go in a vertical way, you're letting go in a horizontal fashion. Now, something you probably don't need to know, but just in case you do, I'll tell you anyway, is the right way to hold a frisbee. It doesn't really matter, just whatever's comfortable with you. But if you really need a solid definition of how to throw a frisbee, the best way would be to use the power grip. This is a very famous way to hold a frisbee in ultimate frisbee and many other sports. To do this, you have to have one thumb on top of the frisbee, your pinky finger and your ring finger on the outside of the rim, and your middle finger and your index finger or your pointer finger under the rim. Now, holding the frisbee this way will let you use the frisbee in many different throwing techniques. What you just learned is how to throw the frisbee the backhand way, where your back of your hand is facing away from you as you throw the frisbee. But there are three other basic ways that are universal, and they're very useful in many frisbee sports. Another way to throw the frisbee is the forehand, where instead of holding your arm out in front of you, you hold your arm out to the side. And you hold the frisbee using the power grip, which I just showed you. And what you want to remember is to keep the frisbee loose in your grip to where it's comfortable. And keep in mind to hold the frisbee level, that way it goes straight. You want to do this once again by pretending you're balancing a glass of water on top of the frisbee. It's the best way to do it. A third way to throw the frisbee is the push. This is kind of awkward and it only goes a short distance, but you would do this just like the name sounds, by pushing the frisbee away from you. Just push your arm straight out in front of you, and the best way to do this is to hold the frisbee like so, with your thumb on top, three fingers underneath, and your pointer or index finger along the rim. And when you throw the frisbee, you push your arm away from you and spin the frisbee using your fingers. This will take a lot of practice. The last technique I want to show you is called the hammer. This is probably the most difficult one, and it's rarely seen. It's mostly used in ultimate frisbee. Now with the hammer, you're going to throw the frisbee as if you're throwing a football, where your arm goes over and behind your head, and you bring your arm down like you're slamming a hammer. Now, whenever you bring your arm behind your head, the frisbee is going to be upside down. And when you throw the frisbee, you're going to throw the frisbee upside down. This can be tricky because whenever you have the frisbee above your head, you forget to hold the frisbee level or at the right angle. This will take a lot of time to learn. Now, these are only 4 ways to throw the frisbee, but there are a lot of different ways you can throw the frisbee. A lot of people make up their own techniques and their own ways to catch it, and you can get really creative with it. Not like you can a baseball or anything. Anyways, these are only 4 ways to throw the frisbee. And the most important thing you need to know to remember when throwing a frisbee is, like everything else in life, is all in the wrist.